right. So welcome back to our podcast, K and G. I'm the G.
I'm the K.
And today we're going to be talking about a pretty, I don't want to say controversial, but it can be controversial topic, which is romantic relationships.
We just want to make sure that you guys have a better understanding of what the relationship aspect what it involves and what it can do to benefit you or maybe not benefit you. There's things that are out there that we want to just put out there that you maybe haven't heard or maybe that you have heard and maybe have questions about. So we're going to go ahead and introduce our guests that were so kind enough to join us on this lovely podcast today. So I have the pleasure of introducing our female participants. We have Miss Rain Arredondo, Miss Shelley Clayton, and Mrs. Kendra DuBois.
And Kim Tatum. And then for our guys, we are missing one, but we do have Charles Tatum. And then we have Mr. Rodarius Daniel. So thank you both for being here with us. All right. So I'm going to let each person kind of share maybe anything that they want to share about themselves and where they live. So we'll start with Miss Kendra DuBois.
Hi, it's Kendria.
Oh, Kendria.
Just one Kendria.
Right. I call her Kiki.
Or Kiki. That's even better. You can call me Kiki. Okay. And yes, I live in Lancaster, Texas, and I was born and raised in Dallas, as you can tell by this beautiful southern drawl I have.
All right. Mr. Daniel.
Mr. Daniel, also known as Ro Daniel. I am from Dallas, Texas, born and raised.
All right. Rain.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rain. I'm actually from El Paso, Texas, and I currently live in Glen Heights.
Charles Tatum.
I am Charles Tatum. I am originally from Midland, Texas. I now live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Grapevine.
Shelley.
Hi, I'm Shelley. I was born and raised and still live in Mesquite, Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and our last guest, Kim Tatum.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kimberly Tatum. I'm originally from Midland, Texas as well, and I live in Dallas, Texas, and have for the last 30 years, I think.
30 years.
That's a long time.
All right. Perfect. So thank you guys all for being here. We're going to dive into our first question, and feel free to answer or feel free to pass. But what general advice, so nothing like too specific, or it can be specific, but just probably not about a person. What advice would you give your non-dating self at whatever age that was? So for me, that would be up until age, I don't think I really dated till I was like 18, a late bloomer. So what advice would you give your non-dating self?
Okay, just a little background about me. Just, fresh out of college, now I'm in like the real world. And you kind of see how things are different as you transition. So if I could go back and tell my non-dating self, I would just say take your time, get to know people before you just decide to move further on in relationships with them. Because, relationships are a beautiful thing, but they also can be catastrophic depending on your partner and the practices y'all have. So just, take time to develop good, healthy relationships.
I love that. I love that comment because I wasn't like you. I didn't wait. I wasn't like Paulo. I didn't wait until I was in high school, maybe leaving high school. I was dating in middle school, and I would tell my non-dating self to wait, wait, because it's not necessary to be in a relationship. I didn't even know what a relationship was back then. I just knew that my friends wanted a boyfriend, and I was like, okay, that sounds cool, and did what they did. And I wish I could go back in time and tell myself that.
Well, and building on that, what Rodarius was saying, even once you start dating, don't settle. Know your worth and don't settle.
That's a good one. Know your worth. Anyone
else? I can go next. Okay. It's definitely basically everything that everyone else is already saying. I would also tell myself to be comfortable, to be alone, to work on myself and my growth, so that I can go into a relationship in a healthy manner. Something that really resonates with me that someone once told me was that healthy people make healthy choices. I would also encourage younger me to pray for healthy dating experiences overall, and I would definitely start praying, for my future husband a lot sooner.
I think that's really good. Oftentimes, I wouldn't say I dated in middle school, probably not really until high school, but I did just think like I wanted a husband like so young. I don't know what it was. And I remember my dad always telling me like, you don't need to have a boyfriend. It's no need to rush into a relationship. Like they're just your friend. And I do oftentimes think back on that advice, and I like to give that advice to my teenage daughter that it is no rush. You can have plenty of friends and get to know yourself and get to know what you like and what you don't like. So I think that would be the advice I would take. It's like, or tell my teenage self, is to listen to your dad.
All right, that's some good advice. I was just I guess I was just like nervous about relationships. I had seen my friends go through so much, and I wasn't very patient with boys, but I don't know. All right, so second question. Do you guys know what your love language is, or have you heard of it? And if so, have you always known what your partner's is when you were in a relationship, or was that even important to you in a relationship?
Hey, this is Kimberly. I do know my love language. It is acts of service, and I think I've been knowing it for maybe about 15 years. As far as partners, I'm very intuitive with people who I am close with, so I would learn that about them.
Like
and
an
it was blessed.
unofficial way or an official way? Like were you just
unofficial, not really confirming it with them, but just based on my perception. Mm-hmm. And it was either a blessing or a curse that I would try to meet what I thought what their love language was. But that could be both positive and negative.
I had the love languages single edition a few years ago, and I found out that mine was I have two. They were tied. I have words of affirmation, and I also had quality time. Those were my two. I didn't know it until honestly I got into the relationship that I'm in currently. And I had him actually take the love languages and found out that his is quality time. So that helps us a lot move our relationship through, especially if we don't feel like our love tank is full. You know what you can do to get that person's love tank full.
I've never heard that before. Love tank.
I don't actually like love tank.
Really?
It's not realistic. Like sometimes your love tank is just gonna be on low forever. Like, and you trying to say it's gonna balance, it's never gonna balance out. But I've also
fill it up.
You can fill it up. It's gonna get empty, just like when you get paid.
Restart every day.
I don't know about the love tank. I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
Anybody ever not heard of love language or?
Well, this is Charles. I read the love languages book. I never really got one thing. I didn't feel like I could live without any of them. I kind of felt like I needed a little bit of all of them. Never really cared to learn anyone else's love language because my opinion of relationships is you kind of get what you get. And therefore I know what I like, but I am kind of different from everybody. It seems like everybody else has really taken relationships into thought. And I never really did. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. So I'm learning a lot.
Wow.
I think love languages are important. To be honest, I never really paid attention to them in the past or like officially, I knew they were a thing and I knew what they were, but I never really sat with anybody and like went over them or I do believe this is critical for compatibility, just because, if you're similar, there's going to be more compatibility, but also if you're not similar, communication is key. And when you really don't assume but ask, you're better to, I mean, I guess you're able to better communicate. And well, yeah, I think that's important, that it'll work better that way.
Yeah, feeding off women's Rain said, yeah, I believe that with love languages, it helps with compatibility, but also longevity. Like if you know the keys to your partner, like I know that my partner, she likes quality time. Well, I like gifts. So, on a Saturday, I'll be thinking, what can I do to make you happy today? Just knowing that you like quality time, that helps me to like plan a day out. And I feel like that goes like in every step of the relationship, knowing their love language can like definitely help you.
So you guys who are pro love languages are saying that you've always had in every relationship this knowledge of their love language.
No.
Looked for it.
No, I wouldn't say that. I knew that if I wanted to be open as I am and be able to understand why I would get upset with somebody if this wasn't I didn't know because it wasn't when it was happening. Like we weren't spending quality time. Like quality time isn't you sitting on the couch and just watching TV. Like quality time is you maybe doing something with each other, having having an intentional conversation, because people miss out on intentional conversations. That's what I mean by quality time. And when that wouldn't happen, it would just feel like the relationship was just not right.
But can a relationship?
I have a question on that statement. So spending quality time isn't just you guys being with each other, then isn't that more of the act of what you're doing as opposed to spending time? In my opinion, spending time is anytime you're together should be considered quality time.
Oh, well, yeah, but what if you're saying quality time, you're on your phone texting and somebody's watching TV. Is that really quality time, or are you just sitting in somebody's presence? That's how I look at it, because that's how you gotta, I'm sitting with you, but are we really spending quality time? Quality is the word. It's not the amount of time that I'm with you, it's the quality of the time that we are spending.
What's quality?
I agree with that. I feel like at some point you have to make a connection. Like she said, you may be in the same room, but you're not really connecting. And how can you spend quality time when you're not connecting with somebody?
I'm going to go with what Mr. Daniel said, because I think the definitions of quality could be perceived as different. I might not be on my phone, but if I'm reading a book next to you on the couch, I feel like that's quality time because I could go read my book in bed. Or
just enjoying each other's presence. I feel you.
So I don't know about that one, but I can see both sides. But yeah, quality, that word quality comes into contention because I'm not really sure. But next question.
Well, moving on from that one, let's talk about our boundaries. When do you talk about boundaries in your situationships, relationships, or dating? And do you talk about it in the beginning, the middle, or the end? Or I'm sorry, beginning, middle, or never?
Yeah, the end will be never, right? Like if you wait till the end, it's over.
It would never happen.
I think that it kind of comes up organically, maybe unless you've been hurt and then you want to kind of lay it out at the beginning of a relationship. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I don't think you want to, because it can almost come across as these rules that I have, which can be off-putting. So for me, it usually comes up organically because sometimes it's something that I didn't even realize that this was a boundary until I question and say, why is that bothering me? And then now we need to have a discussion. Like, okay, so that boundary was crossed and let's kind of talk about that.
I think I fall into the category of the people that have been hurt because I like to at least discuss some boundaries in the beginning. I go on a lot of first dates and I would say 90% of those guys don't even make it to a second date because they can't respect the boundaries that I've set. And one of the big boundaries, and I think anyone who's single and has children probably has this same one. You're not going to meet my kid anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that's put a lot of guys off that they kind of see it as, I don't see the relationship going anywhere if I don't introduce them to my kid. And that's not the case. I'm being protective of my kid.
So that's interesting, because I was going to ask like some examples of some boundaries that someone might put up, or what might be a turn off to some people. So Mr. Daniel or Mr. Tatum, if a woman told you that you could not see her child, how would you take that? Because I would not see anybody taking that badly. I would be like, okay, that's probably wise and probably not ready for that, especially on a first date. So I'm shocked.
Right. That's to me, if someone is upset by that, that's a huge red flag, because they need to get to know me and get comfortable with me, and vice versa, before I can introduce them to my child.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like as a man, if I'm on a first date with a woman and she tells me that I'm not meeting her child anytime soon, then I'm not really tripping about it, just because, I would want you to be comfortable with me enough to want to bring me around your child. I feel like a first date, that's not we don't know each other that deeply yet in order for me to start meeting like your family. So I don't think that would be a thing.
Right. That's a good boundary though to have. I don't have children, but that would definitely be a boundary that would be out there for me. You're not meeting my child.
Yeah, and that definitely makes me reconsider. Do you bring it up at the beginning? Like, that is the type of boundary that it's probably certain ones you want to lay out up front.
Yeah. But I feel like a first date is cool, but like if I'm on a first date with a woman and you telling me like every single thing that like you're not going for, and I'm like, well, let's get to know each other first. I feel like boundaries should come kind of on once we realize that, okay, I like you, you like me, let's see where this relationship goes. But if you telling me from the first date all your rules and expectations, I'm like, it's like the first day of class. I'm not ready to take the test yet.
I could see both sides. Like, I agree with what you're saying, that you don't want to go on the first date and put all your boundaries down and kind of almost not necessarily making it negative, but like bringing something like that, I guess. But at the same time, I also give kudos to Shelly, because knowing your boundaries and I mean, at some point you don't want to waste somebody's time, and you don't want them to waste your time. And I get it. I guess it just depends, like, how long you've been dating and what your experiences have been. There's nothing wrong with knowing your boundaries and going in there, hey, these are my boundaries. Because I think sometimes when you don't do that, whether it's because you don't know your boundaries or you just want to see where things go, sometimes it gets harder down the line, because you start connecting with someone and you might not establish the boundaries that you needed. Just a thought.
And with boundaries, I think you kind of have to be careful, because everybody has different relational timelines. So your boundaries may be what ruins the connection. And I'm not saying, because I have kids too, and you have to be a very, very particular and special person to me to meet my children. However, if we're working through these boundaries and she is progressing a little bit faster than I am, but I still have my boundaries, that might become the disconnection between us.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to take a final poll for this. And you're going to just say, I'm going to call your name and you say boundaries. You're going to say beginning, middle, or never.
Answer C.
So which level should you introduce boundaries? So I'll start with Kiki.
Oh, man. Okay, middle.
Okay. Mr. Daniel.
I'll say middle.
Okay. Charles.
From jump.
Okay. Rain.
I'll say middle and throughout.
Okay. Throughout, past the middle, like after the middle?
Well, I feel like at the middle or like early on, but then I feel like it's something to talk about always.
Okay. All right. Kimberly.
Mine is throughout. Sorry.
That's
throughout, and it also depends, and it's relative.
So beginning?
Throughout.
All
beginning
right.
and middle and end.
All right. Shelly?
I think it's throughout as well. I think you do have to put some boundaries out there fairly early on. Others can wait towards the middle and later, but I think some boundaries need to be discussed very early on.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I would personally, Casey, what would you say?
I would definitely say, I would say in the beginning. Like, I'm not going to lay out that I want to get married day one, but you know, if that's what you're in, or you're trying to get into a relationship, you know that that's what you're going to be looking for. But I would definitely say in the beginning.
So dating Gabby, which was a while ago, would probably say beginning, but now I'm like, I guess we'll get to it when we get to it. Maybe maybe the middle.
In the middle,
At some point we'll talk about it, right? All right, next question. Has anyone had a family member, like your significant other family member, play a positive or negative role in your relationship, and how is that for you? So your significant other, not them, but somebody in their family, it could be their mom, be their dad, their sister. Have they ever played a significant role in y'all's relationship, positive or negative? And how is that for you?
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, my girlfriend now, like her mother is so phenomenal. She's such a great person. When I first met her, I was in college, and I met her mother one day, and I was explaining to her mother like what my life plan was, and she was like, "Okay, you want to be a lawyer? You want to do this?" So then she actually like invited me to events that lawyers were gonna be at, and every time she saw something that could help me like move forward in life, she was always inclusive and wanting me to come. And I really like that. Like, you know, I told my girl, like, I really appreciate your mom's everything she's trying to do. Like, I'm not even her child. But yeah, she treats me with so much love and respect. So, and I feel like whenever the parents do like you and they're welcoming, it definitely makes the relationship better with you and your partner.
Well, yeah, mine goes hand in hand with that. I have a really great mother-in-law who she just cares for me like a daughter, and so I can lean on her just as much or even more sometimes, as much as I lean on my mom. So I have a good experience with family.
My mother-in-law, well, soon to be mother-in-law, should I say, we don't talk often, but when I do have a conversation with her, she's very loving. She'll offer advice when she sees fit. She's not a person that'll meddle into anything, but she's very observant. Like, that's where my fiance gets his ways from, his behaviors. She observes, and then if she feels the need to step in, she will step in and provide knowledge that I myself don't know, because I'm still young. And she'll give me like personal advice, not necessarily like marriage or relationship advice, but something to better myself.
I guess I can offer the flip side to that. I'm divorced, and I did not get along well at all with my father-in-law, to the point that he is not even a part of my son's life. That wasn't my decision alone. My son's dad, it was actually his idea, and I agreed with it. But even while we were married, we did not get along with my father-in-law or his wife. So I guess stepmother-in-law, we just did not get along at all. They were, in our opinion, they were not good people.
And kind of just to piggyback off that comment, I think that is not to go back to the last topic, but that's a boundary thing. I don't think family should have too much involvement in relationships. Of course, they're going to be parts of your lives, things, but it is a huge, nice word. It's not a very good thing when y'all have a talk about something, then she goes back and talks to her cousin, aunt, sister, mom, because then they start to develop feelings and opinions about you and things like that. So I think families should be at a distance when it comes to relationship. Just my opinion.
I can agree with that though.
Me too. And I'll say, even in hearing like Daniel Mr. Daniel and yours, Casey's, and thinking about my own mother-in-law. She does do very well with staying on that borderline of not getting involved, but just I know she cares for me. So it's just a support of me, but not, meddling.
Right. Okay. Well,
I had a I've been married for 9 years, and I forgot about that. Well, I found out probably a couple weeks ago that my in-laws actually did not like me. They never showed it. They never said anything to me. But like behind, like they told my husband, like, I don't want you to get married. You shouldn't get, like, I had no idea. They've never been anything but kind to me, like ever, and like appropriate. But they thought it was this big old joke, and my feelings were hurt. I was like, y'all can keep it to yourself. I don't care how long we've been married. My husband never said anything to me. But anyways, so.
Okay.
My mother-in-law, as teenagers dating, I was not the one she wanted her son with. So thank God that changed because, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, well let's go on to another one. How do you or plan to balance your alone time while in a relationship, and how important is this for you?
Oh, I'm gonna start on this. That is that first conversation that will happen. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding about what I need personally. In past relationships, there's a tendency to believe that because we spend so much time together in the beginning, that's the way our relationship is going to be throughout. So as I've grown and learned, I established those boundaries, if you would, from the very beginning.
Okay.
I agree. I think it's a boundary issue. And I think this is one of the boundaries that does need to be discussed towards the beginning of a relationship. Just me personally, if it's a brand new relationship, I don't want to see this person more than once or twice a week, because I have to have not just my alone time, but, my time with my kid, but also my alone time. I thrive in my alone time. That's my peace. That's my comfort. That's where I get back to me and recenter myself, is my alone time. And, when you first get into a relationship, yeah, you're giddy and you want to see that person all the time. And that's why I have that kind of boundary or rule or whatever, no more than once or twice a week in the beginning. Now, as you progress in the relationship, yeah, you can see each other more, but they still need to respect your alone time.
So you would say distance makes the heart grow fonder. I agree.
Yeah, in my case it does, but I've been single for 6 years now, and I've only casually dated during this 6 years because I've gotten so accustomed to having my alone time that I love it.
Okay. Anyone else the complete opposite, or you agree?
I just want to add, you made a comment that distance makes the heart grow fonder. I don't necessarily think that it has anything to do with the other person, but more about your own health and development. You can lose yourself in relationships. And so I think it's very important to focus sometimes just on what you need. And that's why alone time is important for me personally.
Yes, I can definitely agree with that. I feel that alone time or even time with friends, I know that's not what the question is asking, but it's important to have that balance, because if you don't have like everything in common, it's good to be able to do those things on your own, recharge, or with friendships. You need to be able to build relationships outside of your partner. Mm-hmm. And, I agree that it's good for your mental health, for your space. And then even then, like, you don't know if you're going to be with this person always. And if you made your life around this person, if you break up or get divorced or whatever the case is, it's going to be very difficult if you didn't build relationships outside of that or with yourself.
Yeah, I see that. That's to piggyback off what Rain said. For me, me and my fiance, we live together, and my fiance is a homebody. He never like leaves the house. So we've had to find like we have our living room space where he and I spend a lot of quality time watching TV, playing games, things like that. But then we also have like different quarters in the house. Like I have my office / craft room / YouTube studio / whatever else you want to call it. And then he has his man cave in the garage, and that's where we spend our alone time. Because together, sometimes you just need to have that peace on your own. Like, because I know that he stays at home, so I can't make the living room my peace place. And I don't like to make our bedroom my peace place. I like to go out and do other things. So I'll come in my office and maybe do some crafting or something to find some kind of alone time. Because if not, then I'm probably gonna go crazy in here.
I definitely. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I think that it is very true what everyone said. It's so important to be able to make sure you give that time to yourself or spend that time with friends. Being in a relationship as long as I've been, and then now with 3 kids, sometimes I have to pick a fight just to be able to like drive somewhere and get some alone time, like you stomp off or but it is very true. It's just needed for your mental like well-being sometimes. So I agree.
Yeah, I agree with the kids part because I guess I've been having kids for so long. I guess it's not so much, even though the relationship, we both have agreed early on. So kind of like what Charles said, we agreed early on that space was going to be needed for both of us. But with the kids is another thing because it's like, gosh, somebody else needs me. But I like make time now to go and do something by myself. And it's hard because I feel like I owe, I guess in a relationship, maybe you feel like you owe somebody something or you feel like you owe them time and so it feels kind of selfish to take that time. But I agree. Alone time is definitely necessary.
Certain.
So during that alone time, you usually, for me, I spend money. I don't know what else to do during my alone time. Maybe I could read, but
me too.
I'll spend money. So has money, spending money or lack of spending money, has that ever been a factor, positive or negative, in your relationship?
Yes, very much so. Very, very, very much so.
I'm sorry,
I love to spend up a check. And we actually are going through marriage counseling right now. And she asked the question, like, is either one of you in the relationship the spender? And I'm like, that'll be me. Like for him, for his birthdays, for anniversaries, I'm spending like $500-$600 on stuff. When I go out, I see something that I might like, he might like this too. And I'm picking up stuff like I'm just spending money. And I figured out, it took me till 2021 at this point to figure it out. But now I've put myself on a strict budget and I am holding myself accountable for the spending that I do, because my spending wasn't always positive spending. It was negative. Mr. Daniels, I think you were going to say something.
No, you got it. You said what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Anyone else, has money played a positive or negative part in your relationship?
Yeah, I would say the same. In my relationship, I'm actually the saver, and my husband is a spender because he's a giver. So he loves to give, and he thinks the bigger the better, And so it's always us balancing that. But I think we've been able to find a balance of you spend because he'll spend on all of us. He doesn't spend selfishly, and then I'll just say, so you spend and I can still get what I want. And then I'll save and make sure that we don't go bankrupt. So
great balance.
Money's a tricky one. I thought more people would. I see like some of the statistics are money is like, I'm throwing this out there, but like 50% of the reason why people like relationships don't last.
Mm-hmm.
I think money played a fairly significant role in why I'm divorced. It certainly wasn't the only thing, but you know, when it reaches a point where you're having to hide income from your spouse so that they don't spend it, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
I feel like money does matter. Like your partner, y'all definitely need to kind of be equally yoked financially. I really feel like that. But once again, I feel like that's one of the things that should like come up in the beginning stages.
Did you say boundaries come up in the beginning, or what did you say, Mr. Daniel?
Well, I feel like you have to be adaptable because, you know, for me, I guess like my relationship now, this is like my first serious relationship to where we've even like we've moved in together, like working on getting married. So, you know, boundaries are like as life progresses, you may find out new things. I don't like this, or, you know, I don't want this to be a problem in the future. So I don't want it to be like, because if you set boundaries at the very beginning, then it's kind of like you're limiting yourself. But then if you don't set boundaries at all, it's kind of like I always say, like, if you ever let somebody do something once, most likely they're going to do it again if you never say anything. So I feel like boundaries come as you progress with your partner, as you guys transition. Like right now, me and my girlfriend, we're together, but we're not married yet. I'm pretty sure when we get married, we'll have more boundaries. I'm pretty sure when we have kids, there'll be more boundaries. It's just like you have to be able to like progress in the relationship.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Now I see what you mean. Okay. When everybody was saying throughout, I was like, well, throughout, but different things, different stages of your life require different boundaries. That's good.
If
I feel like
add,
it's.
oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I already talked. You go.
I was just gonna say that it's like I believe it's like a complex topic because there's many components to it. Like one thing I will say is that I feel like it helps when both you and your partner are financially stable or on the same page financially. You know, if you're not, I guess at some point it's okay, you know, if you make more money or something and you're helping each other, you know, there's ways that you can make up, like if you have that arrangement or, you know, whatever. But at some point, if somebody's doing more than the other person, especially financially, I feel like there may be some resentment, and overall, you know, you won't be advancing at the same pace if you have certain goals, or just like, let's say you want to travel and, you know, you maybe that's an issue because of the money or things like that. I feel like your partner should be on the same page as you financially.
So do you guys then believe in joint bank accounts or separate, or splitting the bills 50-50, or how does that work financially? What do you guys believe should happen?
I am hoping that I've been pushing for the joint bank account and then keeping our bank accounts that we have currently, and like just pulling, you know, like you get an allotment of so much money for the month because we only get paid once a month as teachers. And then that's your spending money. But typically we split the bills down the middle. But if we had a joint bank account, I can just pay the bills, and then whatever portion we have left over is your spending money, and then go from there. Because I hate having to do okay, well, can you send me this for this? And then can you just put it in there, put it in a joint bank account, and then you have your own account, and I'll have mine. I think that's the best way to do it. But some people don't feel that way. They like to just.
I think good point, because I think the separate bank accounts is a breeding ground for resentment, because there's no way, it's going to be very difficult for there to be equality there. If y'all go out to eat, who paid last time? And I think that's a really, really tricky thing when you feel like you're contributing more, you don't have access to their accounts, you don't know what they have, you don't know what they're buying, but yet y'all share this space and y'all are in a relationship. I think if y'all are going to be in a relationship, let's just lay it all out there, and then we can have the conversation going forward on how we, you know, work our finances. Previous relation, I'm the spender, if you can't tell. And in the previous relationship, but I'm the spender, but I'm never going to tell anybody else not to buy what they want to. So it was a little bit of a conflict that well, I don't buy myself anything, but you always buy yourself things. But I never tell you that you can't buy things as well. So why are you upset with me? That's when we ended up with separate bank accounts, and it was all downhill from there.
All downhill after separate bank accounts. We don't have separate bank accounts. We never have. We have separate credit cards, which gets both of us into trouble. But one bank account, one access to all the money. Anybody else on separate bank accounts or bills splitting?
Yeah, we've tried many different things. So we do have separate bank accounts, and so we split everything 50-50, and then we decide how much the joint account is the savings account, and deciding how much we put there. And then when it comes to like eating out or something like that, we usually will just use the same credit card for stuff like that, and we can just talk about what's the split when we pay that bill, or or my husband will decide, because he likes to spend, to just pay it. So it's not that big of an argument, but it's kind of been what works for us, just so that I don't hound him about, why did you take money? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? So it just has worked for us.
You're a nice saver, Kiki, because I'm a mean saver. Like, I get a notification if you spend more than $25. And I get a text to my phone if you didn't spend $25 and you did not tell me. Oh no.
Oh God.
Whole conversation. But interesting. Okay. So our next question.
Okay. Yes. What are work-life balance issues that you faced?
For one, it was just like kind of how it kind of relates back to the one he was like distance. At first, before me and my girl moved in together, every time I see you, like, I'm happy to see you because I don't see you every day, But then, so every time I see you, it's date night, it's love, everything. But then you guys move in together. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're all in my face every day. Like, I've been at school for 8 hours talking to these kids. I don't want to come home and hear you talk about the kids that you have for 8 hours. So you definitely have to adapt, and you have to modify your schedule. To me, the biggest thing I had to find bro time. To me, a big thing is bro time. Like, after work, I come home, I go right to grad school. Then from there, I'm spending time with my girl. So, I have to find times to be myself, to remind me like who I am outside of my relationship. So to me, a big part of the work-life balance is making sure that even though you're still growing as a relationship, that you're growing individually as well. So I still make time to go see my family, go see my friends, just hang out by myself. You have to make time, because if you don't make time, it's not gonna happen.
That is so good that you said that, because that's what we're talking about right now. And when I say, y'all, I am terrible at the work-life balance situation, it's bad. Like, I go to work, I go to practice, I coach volleyball, I'm coming home, I'm doing grad school work. Then I maybe have to look at some of the wedding plans that we have coming up. I'm in a wedding, and I never find time for my spouse. Like, it's been that way. And he's now voicing his opinion, like voicing his concerns, like, Casey, I'm not getting enough time with you because you're stretching yourself so thin. So honestly, I'm ready for the wedding to be over, the wedding that I'm in to be over. I'm ready for me to be out of grad school so that I can find that time to spend with my soon-to-be husband, because that's important to both of us. So it's good that you say that you take time to even to remember who Ro is, because I forget sometimes who Casey is. Wow. That's good. It's in the mental. It's right here.
I have just a statement, I guess. An answer to this is, I guess you have to really be intentional with appreciating what you have instead of working towards things you don't have yet. So I guess that's something to think about.
Really good point.
Ooh,
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Say that. I'm gonna have to record that and keep that as a clip.
No, what she said actually just really resonates, and I think that I've always, I guess, felt like what she said, even to the point where I've not wanted to pursue anything further. Like, becoming a principal or an administrator or anything like that, because it is such a concern for me. How much time will it take away from my family and me being able to be present, especially right now. I have a teenager, I have a 1-year-old. And so, I think about that, I think about long term. That is very important. I don't want to work so hard for something that I don't even have and lose focus of what's like right here, right now, and really important.
And you said, I forget who it was. Someone said they were a coach.
Miss Weatherspoon, me. Okay.
Okay, Miss Weatherspoon. Well, I coached I was a head coach for 10 years. And I guess this goes back to what my initial statement was earlier in the podcast when I was talking about sometimes sitting at home is your quality time, because for the work-life balance, especially. Because as a coach, like it's year round. So during the season, it's 7 to 7 on non-game days. And on game days, you're getting home after midnight sometimes, just depending on where you are. So sometimes that quality time is sitting on the couch watching TV. And I think it's really important that where compatibility comes in is if your love language is quality time, and me being here after I've put in a 12-hour day and me sitting here on the couch with you isn't quality time, there's going to be an issue. So compatibility and those boundaries really come into play when we're talking about work-life balance when you're in a really, really demanding industry.
I can see that point now. I can. Because before I didn't see it, but now letting that information that you just said soak in, I'm gonna have to take that into account, because volleyball season is nowhere near over. And neither is grad school. So I'm gonna have to learn to sit on that couch and watch these basketball games that I'm tired of watching.
I want to push back a little bit. I wanted to push back just a little bit on what Charles Tatum said, that I think when it comes to quality time, it is relative on the person, that what you think is quality time may not be quality time. So it is important to discuss with your partner, what would you like for me to do when I am here? Instead of assuming that you being on the couch is a pleasant experience for that person.
But if that's all the person has, I feel like what he was saying is that's what I have to give to you because I'm working so hard. So even though I would rather be asleep, I'm giving you the time that I have, whether it meets the quality demand that you have or not. Because either I can sit here with you or I can go to sleep.
Well, my life balance issues that I have faced is I work a very stressful job. And for me, it's like an 8-hour day. So I don't really spend more than 8 hours at work. But it's the mental component that, when I get home with my ex-boyfriend, we live together, I would vent, and vent about my day and, certain situations or whatever, just to let things out or to talk about my day. And yes, it's healthy, they're there for you, but at the end of the day, they have jobs too. And, sometimes it's a matter of asking if they have the mental capacity for us to vent. Because if you're just talking about work, then I feel like sometimes it adds too much stress or tension, and you're not able to connect about maybe other things that matter.
Well put, everyone. I think I agree. I agree with what most everyone said, even the quality time, because it's easy to say when that's on the giving end, but on the receiving end of quality time, I'm like, this is not meeting that need. But I take what I can get. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds, and I want you to think of what it is. Picture one thing, and then I want you to say what that is. What is your ultimate relationship pet peeve? Like ultimate, like will make you slap somebody. Ultimate relationship pet peeve. All right, 10 seconds.
You want anybody to go?
Yeah, you can go.
Nagging.
What do you mean by
100%.
nagging?
100%. Complaining. let's talk about what the issue is and reach a resolution. I can't take ongoing complaining about the same thing. If you don't like the answer, I think that's just a personal problem that you're going to have to live with. But the continual nagging and griping and complaining is a deal breaker.
Okay.
I'll feed off that. To me, it's kind of like that, but I'll say I won't say nagging. I think it's ineffective communication. Like, I feel like communication is the key to any relationship, friendship, whatever. When people are dealing with communication. So, like Mr. Tatum says, nagging. If we're constantly having the same talk about the same thing, and we see like the conversation is going nowhere, then maybe we need to change the approach of how we're trying to address it. So to me, yeah, my biggest pet peeve is not being able to communicate. Tell me what's on your mind. Tell me your intentions, and let's go from there.
I'm definitely that was mine. That has to be my biggest pet peeve, is not effectively communicating. I don't want to say just communicating, effectively doing that. Because if you're not effectively communicating, then you're not really getting out of the conversation what you need to. There's an ending goal when you have an effective conversation with someone. When you're just communicating, you don't know what it is that you're trying to get out of this conversation. And we working through that. Because I say that, but I'm not always effectively communicating. I'm learning.
I'm going to sound like a bitter woman when I say mine. Mine is lying, and not just like
That's a big one.
lying to be dishonest, but I mean, like, just automatic responses that aren't true. Like, if I were to put on an outfit and it looked horrible, and say to my partner, how do I look? And they don't even think about it. They just respond with great. That bothers me. I want someone to be honest with me, even if it hurts my feelings.
About everything? About everything.
Yes.
100% honesty.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If my bottom is getting too big, tell me. If my belly is getting too big, tell me.
No, don't tell me.
I say, no, don't say nothing. Don't say anything. You may slightly say, hey, let's go take a walk. Let's go walk the dogs.
I can get that though, because it's like, it kind of goes with communication too. Don't say something and mean something else. Like,
okay.
Don't say we're done with the conversation when really we're not. Don't say this when really you would like for me to slim down. Say what you mean so we can move forward.
What you mean what you say.
All right. Rain, Kiki, or Kim?
Mine was actually sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, mine was actually the same as the person who just spoke. I'm sorry. I think Miss Clayton, I think it was. Yeah, it's the same. I guess I won't say lying. It ended up just more being honest, or just kind of having that straight. Maybe it's a middle of being honest and effective communication. Like, I don't like when people just say it straight. Like, just say stuff and tell the truth and just be honest. And let me decide what I want to do with that honest information. Sorry.
Right. True.
Mine's the exact same, communication and honesty. When there isn't that, I feel like there's a lot of issues, as far as you won't know if somebody's angry or why they're behaving a certain way, or you won't come to a resolution if there's no communication and the other person's being honest, or both of you. So.
True. Kim, you got one?
Ignoring me, which I guess goes into effective communication. Do not ignore me.
What does ignoring to you look like?
Like, if I'm talking to you, maybe you're mad at me and you won't say anything back. Or if I try to call and like haven't heard from you, I don't like that.
I think mine would be, it's kind of strange, but I like the honesty, but in public, you be on my side. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care if I said the sky was purple. You say it's purple till we get home. And then we can talk about it. But be on my side in public. It's important to me.
Oh, loyalty.
Loyalty. There you go. Loyalty. Strange one, but it's weird. I don't like it. Like, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, the truth and how wrong I was once we get home. But right now, I'm right. All right. So our last question, which is a twofer, you can pick which one. In your past relationships, has there been someone that got away? If so, what would you tell them? Or is there one that should have gone away way sooner? And what would you talk to them about if you saw them now?
Cool.
So did one get away, or should one have gone away?
I can take this one.
Go
Go ahead, Miss Shelley.
I don't know necessarily if this is considered him getting away. We never truly dated. I'll just leave it at that. But we're still in each other's lives. We're just not in a relationship. If I need him, I know I can always call on him and he's got my back, whatever I need him for. If I need him to change a brake light on my car, he can do that. If he needs me to make a dessert for, the guys at work, I can do that. So to a certain extent, we have that relationship with each other without actually having that relationship with each other. So I don't know if that really qualifies as him getting away or not. But
yeah, because what would you say to him right now about the status of y'all's relationship? You need some more time.
That's a tough one. I might need more time with that.
All right.
I mean, if you would have asked me 3 years ago, I would have said to him, you don't know what you're missing. But I'm actually happy with the way things are.
Okay. So you would say, let's keep going strong. Just the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the way things are because I have that quality time with him, but I can date if I want to date. He can date if he wants to date. And we just, anytime anything outside of us falls apart, the other one is always there to pick up the pieces.
Like a movie.
Yeah, I guess.
Both worlds, look.
Except that we don't end up together.
That's how it always is on the movies. The whole life, y'all be there for each other. And then one day, it just happens.
Yeah, I think that day will come when we're in our 70s or 80s.
70, 80? Oh,
probably.
No. Oh, no, Miss Clayton.
I'll wait for my wedding invitation then. All right. Anyone else? One who should have gone away or one that got away?
I would say one that should have never been there.
Okay.
And if I had to ever talk to this person ever again in my life, I would say, you tried to break me, you tried to ruin me, you tried to do whatever you could to me, but you didn't win, and you're never gonna win. Period.
Now that sounds like some Color Purple stuff.
Never gonna win.
All right.
You got too many demons in your closet.
All right. Anyone else? One that should have gone away or one that shouldn't have gone away?
I would say I don't think there was one that got away because I think that exes are exes for a reason, and should not, have gone away because I think you learn things with every relationship you go through. So if without having those experiences, I don't think I would be where I am now. I don't know if that's good or bad, if I wouldn't have had those experiences. So I neither for me. I think that, your relational makeup and the experiences that you have make you who you are, as a boyfriend, girlfriend, or spouse.
That's a good point. I can see that. Definitely, we are the sum total of the relationships that we've had. And somebody, obviously, if you're in another relationship, wants that person. So you can't just go back and X out the pieces you didn't like. All right. Rain?
I agree 100% with that. I feel like in my life, there's many that got away, but I wouldn't necessarily see it that way. I do believe in God's perfect timing. And, I've done a lot of work recently on myself and I've grown. And I feel that what I've gone through has actually shaped me to be better, or, all cliche, a best version of myself, a better version for whatever is next for me. And
Kiki or Mr. Daniel or Kim, do y'all have one that got away or one that should have gone away?
I will not answer this question. No, it doesn't apply. Sometimes I wonder, should my husband be the one that went away?
I think
just
all
joking.
married women ask that though.
Right.
All right, Kim?
Maybe about 15 years ago, I would have said one that got away. I always believed that, but then I'm like, no, it wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
But just so for argument's sake, I'm going to say this person that I always felt got away. I would say to him, thank you. That's it.
All right. Well, that is our time. I want to thank all of our guests for participating and being honest and open about, relationships and how they've affected you and what you've learned from them. I think what I'm taking away most is this is just a learning thing. And even though everyone's in different stages, I think we all continue to learn, whether that be boundaries, what the word boundaries means, or what the word quality means. I think that it's an ever evolving cycle that is lifelong. So I would definitely, thinking about dating, like some of the kids that I deal with on a daily who are dating, I would definitely tell them, you just don't even know. Like, you don't even know what you're getting signed up for. But I want to thank you guys again for joining us. And our next podcast, Casey, when's our next one?
It'll be 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks. Be
2
looking
weeks
out for it.
Colored people time though. So
maybe like a month.
Somewhere in between then.
Somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks.
So this has been Chatting with K and G. Thank you guys.